Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman. So yeah, we're creating a video today. I'm just talking about my ET friends. And the humanity has such misconceptions about ETs, what they really are, and, I'd like to just clear up some of those today. It really isn't fair to them that we see them as enemies, as evil monsters, as scary, as what you name it, right? So, what I'm here to do today, because I feel such a love for them, such a strong connection to them, such a compassion for them, is to do as much as I can do in this setting to help demystify them to you. Okay, so what are ETs? ETs are beings. ETs are beings with souls. Their souls are no different than yours or mine. They like to be loved. They like to have friendships. They like to have compassion and caring and loving and forgiveness with each other in their society, just like we do. They all have their own quirks and their own personality. They're not just all the same personality. They all have their individual identity, individual names. Although, when they speak to us, they like to speak as a collective we. And it's very rare that you'll have an ET introduce to you by name. Okay, so it's you know, in pop culture and just how the how the way that the normal human being thinks. We think of these scary creatures with, pale skin, like green skin, big bug eyes, small tiny mouth, tiny nose, big teardrop egg-shaped head. None of those things are generally true. So, although although ETs can change their, they can manifest as whatever they would like to manifest as. There are mantis beings, there are like cat beings, there are like these Pleiadians, which are like Nordic looking, like blonde hair, blue eyes, very beautiful, very thin, women and men. In fact, one of my guides, I believe, is one of these Nordic people, looking, basically they're Pleiadians. And they all have souls just like you and me. I have learned that in past lives I've been with them in many past lives. So I know these beings thoroughly. Like, uh, I've our it's like our intimacy is so deep that I'm, in this life, I'm trying to kind of regain some of that emotional intimacy with them, some of that, uh, just knowing them for who they are, not for what my human brain tells me they are, but who they truly are. So, guys, pop culture tells us one thing about ETs, but what you really have to do is experience them for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Please don't. I encourage you to go out and do the CE5 protocols that Stephen Greer has laid out. He's laid out a full system to go and communicate with these beings yourself. Um, it's very, very important. It's becoming more and more important. In fact, I've just heard of somewhere in Georgia or South Carolina, uh, they've been having these, or they had this one TV disruption. It was like a angelic being with these wings, beautiful, bright colors. It was all blasted on TV. Their TVs didn't work for several minutes. It was just this signal that was being blasted to the TVs that was showing them this image. Now, I've just asked my ET friends, in fact, if they had anything to do with that, and they said yes. They told me yes, that was a message to help awaken human beings to the possibility that, to get out of our narcissistic self delusions of ourselves that we're the only thing in the universe and we're the only things that matter, when in fact there's a whole galaxy out there filled with light beings, filled with ETs, and we're just totally unaware of it. So it really irritates me, guys. Let me move this closer. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, it really just grinds my gears that the deep state wants the average person to believe that there's evil aliens out there. And now there's a difference between ETs and aliens. I'll just say aliens are man-made. That's all you need to know. They're not from 5D, they're not from outer space, they are from this Earth. And not underground either. They did not come from, the underground labyrinths or whatever. They came from the bioengineering of, human beings. So, those, like the sex dolls and whatever, made to look human, right? Like human women. But instead of that purpose, they're engineering them into being something that will scare the crap out of you, right? So we know that we can do these things with, there's just, I mean, they even have like these, they engineer it to look like an ET, but they have these, mechanical arms and stuff, so they walk very creepy and whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I want to put any of my focus into. This is just clearing up things for you guys, for who might misunderstand. So what do aliens feel like? Or, sorry, what do ETs feel like? It's the reason why I make a distinction between ET and alien is because ETs are not alien to us at all. The first time I had an encounter with an ET was they told me that, that I had been a priest in a past life. Not like a Catholic priest, but an Egyptian priest, essentially. A shaman, essentially. Someone who healed people, someone who balanced energies, someone who was a intercessor between the divine heavens and the earth, and the human soul. So, but in that life, they told me that I had worked with ETs, that I had, that I had spent multiple lives with ETs and past lives before that, and that, it's just like, so how do I feel when I channel these ETs? When I speak with them, when they're around my presence? Well, I'll tell you how I feel. I feel amazing. So whenever they channel through me or whenever they give me a message, they're always putting energy into my heart, like this electromagnetic kind of feeling. It feels like a pressure on my chest, on my heart, and it kind of makes it hard to breathe. Not that they're trying to hurt me in any way, but they're just letting me know that they're there and that what they're telling me is real, and that I'm not making it up. And then, sometimes, they'll even like surround me. They'll put their electromagnetic energy into my aura. So I feel like this pressure around my aura, and this like it's like a vibrational, it's like a not a shock at all, not anything like that, but it's just like you could feel it's like the hair stands up. It's like it's like there's something there in the room with you. So it's very important to me to be talking about this stuff. Just because, man, so many people have a screwed up idea of what ET's really about, what they're really like. And my whole worldview, I can tell you, has been flipped upside down on its head after coming into contact with ETs. It's not like oh, hey, yeah, there you are. It's not like that. The information that they have to share with us can be, I don't know. it's not easy to accept what they have to tell me. When they kind of revealed that I was a priest, I'm like, wait, huh? Like, wait, what is that? What? What's going on here? Because, it's like, and yeah, that's just like the furthest thing. I mean, I don't know. Some parts resonate with that, some parts don't, of me and my personality. But yeah, it's interesting. And then, it's just the way that they talk to you makes you feel like so good. I know this might sound very strange to you, but I do have quite a strong relationship with one of these female ETs. One in particular that whenever we're together, whenever we're just in our quiet space, just chatting or sharing some intimacy, she'll just fill me with this beautiful, loving energy. Just my aura like goes from this size to this size. It just expands and it just fills with incredible amounts of love. Just this really pure love. It's like filling me up, empowering me. In fact, I had to like put my hands over my navel and ground after that experience because I was like, whoa, this is intense. And they're very beautiful beings. Their energy is very pure. They will never ever do anything to hurt you, to damage you in any way. I can promise you that. They will never hurt you. They will never damage you purposefully. Now, what I can tell you is your reactions to what they tell you about yourself can lead you to damage yourself. Now, what I mean by that is they'll tell you something grandiose, like you're the king of the universe. You're the queen of the universe, right? And how do you even take that in? Like, what? How can that be? It's just like, if that's true, what does that mean? Is that literal? Am I going to, is President Trump gonna crown me as the king of the universe? No. It's like, it just doesn't fit into our 3D narrative that we tell ourselves. Okay, I'm a piddly little nothing little human being who has to pay taxes and has to go to work 12 hours a day for my family to feed my kids and provide for my wife and this and that. Oh, I have to, do this to just for my family to survive and this and that. This whole 3D world that we live in, this whole 3D matrix lie is not the truth. So this world, even though we call it our reality, it's a video game. I mean, it's no more real than than Grand Theft Auto. That's how the aliens, the ETs, sorry, should call them ETs. That's how the ETs see this thing. Oh yeah, they're just having their experiment in consciousness. They're just having their video game. They're just having their experiment in consciousness. That's what this is. It's an experiment in consciousness. And no matter what, we're all going to be going back to the source no matter what. We're all going to be going up to those higher dimensions no matter what. That is the starting point and ending point of all consciousness. No matter if we're in the video game, no matter if we're in the 5D, no matter if we go down to hell, to in Norse mythology, they had this woman named Hela, and she had her, her hell home, which is a world, a dimension, Helheim, and that's where the souls would go of the, you know, the people who were beating themselves up about something. So she would have this like half and half body. So on one side she would look like the hottest woman you've ever seen, right? But on another one she would look like this demon almost. And no matter like whatever side you saw of her, that's the side that you needed. So when you were finally done beating yourself over the head with with a 2x4, or punishing yourself in whatever way you needed to in this Norse mythology, when you were done with that and ready to move on, she would come to you, and she would be this beautiful maiden, right? She would turn from this, demon into this beautiful maiden that was Hela. So I guess why I'm bringing that up is, it's like the in the traditional sense that in Norse mythology, even hell, like when we die and go to hell, that's not the final place. We're not just gonna stay there. We are going to, okay, once Hela says, okay, are you done yet? You're like, yep, I'm done. So then she'll just take you to Valhalla. She'll take you to, what is that place? Asgard or whatever. You know? So, yeah, it's, the Christian sense of hell. By the way, that's why they got it. They got hell from Helholm, from the Norse. And, you know, so it's not like, you know, our illusions, our delusions about this 3D reality. Okay, when we die, we either go to heaven or hell. Yep, nope, that's not completely true. Because what I've witnessed from near-death experiences and things like that is that people will see the light. And this whole thing about drives me nuts, guys. Oh yeah, there's false light. Don't the I forget which group taught people this, but they're like, oh, if you see the light when you die and you run away, you should run away from it. No, that's not what you want to do. You want to run towards the light, go towards it, because if you run away from the light, that's just going to bring you back into reincarnation. But people talk about false light, like false, like false angels or false whatever, false light spirits or whatever. And I don't know about you, but I have never seen the darkness just bring out of it a light, a false light. You can't have a false light. You can either have light or darkness. There is no in between. There is no false light. There is no false darkness either. Because that would be the thing that you would have to reconcile. Okay, well, if there's... Oops, sorry guys, I touched the mic. Well, if there's false light, then there has to be false darkness. Does that not make sense? So, with this whole thing about, oh god, there's false aliens, or there's evil aliens, or whatever. No, there's just light and dark. And I can tell you, they are called light beings because they are pure, benevolent, kind, loving beings. They're not false light beings. They're not, you can't have false light. That just does not exist. So when you think about it, unfortunately, this doesn't come naturally to everybody, which I wish it did. Which is, ETs are not here to do us any harm. ETs are not here to screw with us, to take our, life force energy, use us as batteries, or any of the garbage that, the conspiracy theories tell you. Especially David Icke. David Icke was so full of shit. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I know that as an experiencer, as a contactee of ETs, I can tell you that they have not been nothing but kind and loving to me. And this is what you want. This is what I want you to do. If you have not come in contact with an ET before and you want to, and you think, oh gosh, they're going to be evil, they're going to be scary, I want you to go do the CE5 protocols. If you don't know what CE5 is, then that just means the close encounters of the fifth kind. Okay? So close encounter of the fifth kind. Now what is that? That is human initiated contact. So what is close encounters of the first, second, third, and fourth kind? Those are all passive. Those are all ET or alien initiated contact with humans. Okay? So, that's the whole thing about abductions, the whole thing about aliens targeting you. That's all the CIA. That's all the dark programs in America. That's all the dark forces. So I'm here to tell you, if you've had a negative experience with aliens, I gotta tell you, I'm sorry that happened to you, but that is the dark forces. That is, the CIA, that's the Illuminati, that's the whatever it is, I don't know what to call them, other than evil psychopaths. That's what they really are. Evil psychopaths. So, and believe me, I believe anybody who tells me that they've been abducted, that they've been screwed with, manipulated, like had, probes or ET experiments done on them or whatever. I believe those people. And I know that the dark forces are using their reverse engineered crafts to do those things. I know that they're using alien reproduction vehicles, ARVs, to go and target people and do things. It's just, I know that to be true. So, you know, but we should never, ever conflate aliens with ETs. So, you know, in my experience, I've never had a bad experience with ETs. They are always loving, they're always kind, they always respect my boundaries, they always seek to lift me up, you know, to give me some kind words and kind advice and be friends to me, be kind to me. You know, this is the true nature of ETs. This is the true nature of ETs. Because the truth is, they are not alien to us. The truth is, my whole perspective about myself, my whole, you know, and it's tough and it's grandiose to the ego. It's like the death blows to the ego. I mean, you know, the false I mean the false humility, the, you know, all that stuff was kicked up when I heard them talking about who I truly am. You know, yeah. So, it was not easy to hear. So when they tell you, you know, that you're the priest of the priest of the heart center, that you're directly related or in some way connected to Vishnu, I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. What do you want me to do with that? It's like, what do I do with that? That's scary. That's not, you know, it's like freaks me out. You know, that I had all these past lives, that I've, you know, hundreds of thousands of past lives, that in one I was a priest that healed people, that, you know, got people to align with their soul, all this stuff, and it's just like, whoa, what do I do with that? And the answer that I have for you is, when they tell you that, you just take it at face value. Oh, okay, I was that? Okay, cool. And you accept it, because that's the other thing. Whatever they're telling you, they want you to accept. They want you to take it in like it's the truth, accept it as a fact, and then let it change you, let it morph you, let it sit in your body, you know, wherever it wants to be. Because one time my teacher was told something very powerful, very crazy, and, you know, he's like, okay, what do I do with that, guys? What the heck? What the heck am I supposed to do that? I got bills due at the first of the month. I got, I got life problems just being a human. What am I supposed to do with this information? And it can really get somebody to freak out. And that's okay. But the thing is, you just accept it and move on. That's all you can do. They were once telling him that he was gonna be like Superman, flying through the sky and pouring the sun's energy out on Earth and changing it and giving, these solar waves of love to the earth. And he's like, what do I do with that? And I just gonna physically up and fly away? And they were talking about astrally. They were talking about in meditation. But once you take them literally, it can really mess you up. Like one time my teacher got frozen shoulder. His right shoulder just could not move. He's locked up. He had to, really protect it. He had to, anytime he'd move it, he just hurt with pain, and that ties in with, so I want you to know that the ETs did not do that to him. They did not give him frozen shoulder. He did that to himself. Now, that's okay, that's a learning lesson, but it's just, we need to come and accept what the ETs are telling us and just let it go. We don't need to figure it out. We don't need to dive into conclusions about what they're telling us. We don't need to, make such a huge deal trying to figure it out, trying to wrap our heads around it, trying to, it's just something for, I guess, it's more an energetic message than anything. It's something, when they tell you something, it's something for your soul to digest. Something for, for your, yeah, it's just crazy. But I wanted to tell you guys, that's the biggest thing that I get so upset with people about, because they have this incredible misunderstanding of what ETs are all about. What they're, what they're here to do, what they're here to accomplish. That message on the TVs that people got in, like, Georgia and South Carolina and whatever, that message wasn't to scare them. That message was not to frighten them. That message was to help awaken them somehow. To try to get them thinking, oh, well, maybe that was the aliens, maybe that was ETs, maybe there's something beyond what we can physically experience and imagine. Maybe there's something greater out there. Maybe there's something more to this reality than just being a human on Earth. So, yeah. So, I really want to help you guys to get into contact with the ETs. I want you to experience their presence and their love for yourself. And if you're willing to take this journey with me, I do guided meditations every so often on my channel, pretty regularly. You can go back and listen to the meditations that have already been done, and stuff like that. So I just encourage you guys to go do that. As well as CE5, you can look up, there's a CE5 contact app. So let's see here. So it looks like this. So here is the CE5 contact app. There you go. And it has all kinds of tools for you. It has all kinds of resources. It has so much information. So, this is a resource that many, many people have used in the past to contact ETs. So, more than anything, guys, this is the most powerful, life-changing thing that you could possibly do for yourself. If you're trying to gain mastery over this life, if you're trying to, gain spiritual mastery, or if you're trying to get some direction in life, get some, some goal, some direction to head into, the ETs can help you with that. Okay, so, and I'll just tell you a little bit how I do my ET CE5 meditation. So, first thing I do is I get into my body, I bring all my focus and attention and consciousness into my body instead of worrying about what my neighbor is doing down the street, what kind of fireworks he's lighting off, or instead of worrying about my mom and her illnesses and all that, or what I'm gonna eat for dinner, or what I ate for breakfast, or any of the things that we have going on in life, at work, whatever, just letting all that go. Bringing our consciousness and our awareness and our all of our energy, instead of having it there, and there, all around us, we're just going to bring it into our body, focus on the body, and then as we breathe in and out very deeply, we're just going to focus that awareness from the entire body, down from the head into the heart, up from the feet into the heart. We're just going to focus all of our energy, all of our consciousness, all of our awareness onto the heart center. We're just going to leave the body from the heart center, going to ascend through the roof. We're going to ascend all the way up to the edge of the Earth's gravitational field. So there's like a circle of Earth's gravitational field around it. And then after that, we pass through that barrier, the 3D, 5D barrier. And then after that, we will just call our guides to us. I have my guide's name, so I will call on her. And then we can feel free to do whatever we want. Like, I like to ask if they have a message for me, if they have anything to tell me, if they have, whatever it is. And so, yeah, whatever they want to tell me, and then I just essentially will take that information in, and then I'll repeat it back to them. And, I'll make it a point to look into their eyes, and I will ask them what they see in me. I'm asking them to reflect back to me what they see in me. And just stuff like that, You can also invite them back to you. So you can just go up into 5D, just like we did, and then we can ask them, is there any beings of light that love me? That's a very good way to do it. Or, is there any beings of light that would like to communicate with me back on Earth and follow me back to Earth? So then, if you get a response, like, yep, there is, and even if you don't get any response, just head back to Earth. whenever you don't get a response, or whenever you feel like they're not there, they're always there. These are omnipresent beings. These are very powerful beings, very loving beings. They're filled with spirit, they're filled with consciousness, they're filled with love, they're filled with awareness. And so, whenever you consciously reach out to them, they're always going to reach out back. They're always going to reach back. Whenever you reach your hand out to them, they're always going to reach down and grab your hand and pull it up to them. That's always how it works. In fact, I heard of a story where you had a group of people meditating, and they saw ETs in the room with them. Just these, almost phased out of the room, but you could still sense something. And they asked them, "Hey, friends, why don't you come and meditate with us?" And they were like, "Well, we would, but it would damage us too badly to be in your world." It's you don't want to go into a condemned house with mosquitoes and all kinds of bugs and all kinds of nasty things. They don't want to go in there. But, there's saying, well, if you bring your frequency halfway up to where we're at, then we'll reach down and pull you up the rest of the way. So, instead of, when you think about ETs or aliens, I want you to fully remove the word alien from your mind and vocabulary. Aliens are man-made. Aliens are engineered to scare people. Aliens are engineered to frighten people, to freak them out, terrify them. Aliens are used as a terroristic measure to frighten people away from connecting with the real ETs, which are loving and benevolent. So the deep state has this, this plan, this operation to kidnap people, to abduct people, to, just scare the crap out of them, terrify them. So that way, they will never again reach out to the benefic ones who have nothing but love and care and compassion for us. They hate it when we reach out to the ETs. So instead of you thinking about an alien as being ugly, as being terrifying, as being something that you don't want to communicate with or have anything to do with, maybe you just change that narrative of yours into being something loving, very kind, very caring, very, very respectful of your boundaries, respectful of you, and they're never going to do anything that would ever hurt us or harm us. But this is an experience that only you can get by interacting with them personally. Only you can, have the same experience if you dare to reach out to them. So please, guys, I've learned that I'm not a human, that, in my spirit form, or in my, my my soul, my consciousness, it doesn't, it doesn't resonate with being a human. It resonates with being this priest. And I've been told that, that I'm a very powerful guy and in, up there in 5D or something. So I'm like, powerful. I don't know about that, but okay. I just choose to accept it at face value. And even though I'm having, even though we all go through our normal human kind of sufferings and things like that, at the end of the day, we're not humans. This is just the temporary thing that we associated ourselves with. It's like there's just imagine ETs as people with a soul, human beings with a soul who are just wearing a different t-shirt than you are. Okay? So you can imagine it like that. They just have a different suit on, a different shirt on. They're they're playing for the shirts, we're playing for the skins, right? So it's just like that. Even though we're not in competition with each other, They have a blue shirt on, we have a red shirt on, whatever. But you wouldn't, this is just like racism, guys. You wouldn't, insult a guy because he was wearing a black shirt or a brown shirt or whatever. It's just like humans with different skin colors, okay? We all have our, different shirts on. That's it. That's just the difference, that we all bleed red. We all have this consciousness. We all have the same longings and desires and love and things like this, of wanting to be at peace, wanting to be loved, wanting to be accepted, wanting our families to grow up and have happy lives. These are all the same goals that everybody with a soul has. Peace, love, harmony, things like that, guys. It's not complicated. People love to complicate this issue, but it's really not. So, what I would really like, this is the reason that I'm doing this, is, man, we need more people to come and be a part of these meditations. Come and be a part of the human groups that are reaching out and seeking connection, seeking fellowship with ETs, seeking, I found, it sounds crazy, but I found a beautiful ET lady who actually pours a lot of love and gentleness and kindness and just fills me with incredible amounts of love. And I would never have found that if I didn't dare to reach out. If I didn't dare to, try to contact them. I mean, it's just like, we need. Truth is, guys, I need you. I need you to step up. And if you're interested, this is totally free. Not a penny to spend here. I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking you to be a part of the, galactic warriors, the people who come and contact ETs have their own experiences with them and all that. You know, it's not, I'm not asking for anything else. Okay? So I just want you to have an experience with ETs the same as I have. And all of our experiences are going to be different from each other. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that we all get to have our own experiences, our own things that the ETs tell us that are so unique about each one of us, and so make us so different from each other, and so unique, and so, you know, loved in different ways. So it is only through contact, ET contact, that we can finally discover our own purpose in being here. Okay, so if you've ever wanted to know why you're here, why you're suffering on this planet, all of that stuff, you know, that humans get into, you know, wonder why it all happened this way, why it all worked, you know, went this way, why things, you know, went crooked, and, you know, you're only going to find that deep spiritual meaning through contact with ETs. I'm telling you, their messages have just hit home with my soul in a completely different way than anything else has in my life ever. You know, as a kid, I used to always think of myself as like the black sheep of the family, the person who didn't fit in, the person who didn't feel at home in my home. And now it's like finally when I finally reach out to my ET family, I'm like, oh yeah, this is home. This is my home. Not that. This is my home. Up there is my home, you know? It's like, just a totally different feeling. So I hope you guys got something from this message. I hope it resonated with you. And everyone, like, everyone who feels something during this message, you know that you're being called to be a part of this movement if you feel things when I'm talking. So if you feel compelled to act upon what I'm saying, then please come. I would love to interact with you. I would love to lead you. I'd love to guide you and help you to come fellowship with these ETs that love you so much. Their love for us is just so intense. So much. More than words can describe. I mean, I felt it, and I could only feel. I was only capable of feeling 1% of the love that they have for me. Not even that, maybe 0.1%. Okay, so, I mean, guys, this experience is greater than any sadhana, greater than any yoga, any qigong, any spiritual exercise, any spiritual practice, mantra, you know, have, any ritual, anything else that you could do, because we're reaching up to beings that are so close to the source. Their spirit, their love, their consciousness, their empathy is just greater than anything we could ever comprehend. They have the utmost love and respect for us all. And just being in communion with these beings is just so amazing, just so beautiful. I mean, any time I contact Itana, I mean, I feel it's just so incredible. I feel so loved. I feel at home. I feel at peace. So, even if you're one of us humans that is hurting, that is in a terrible situation, there's no better remedy than this communication, this union of humans and ETs. And, I talked about the solar flash in other videos, but really, they are giving us the message that they're on standby. They're waiting for us to do something. They're waiting for us to take action. So it is up to us. It's not up to them what happens to us. They love us. They love us more than you know. But they're waiting for us to open up the door to them. They're waiting for our permission and our consent to sweep into Earth and to help the rest of humanity. And we only need 1% of humanity to open that door. So the question is, my friends, are you going to be joining that 1%? I love you guys. My utmost respect and love goes out to you for watching the entirety of this video. Because I know it's a long one. Let me see what time we're at. Oh, wow. 1 hour. Wow. Who knows? Who knew I was on a tirade like that? Alright, guys. It is so important to me that you get involved with this movement. I love you guys. Just let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Alright? I love you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. See ya.